Found you. Hey, babes. How's it going? We are in the middle of doing makeup, so let me get my shit situated here for a second. And there's this. And where's my chat? OMG. Where's my microphone? Oh my gosh, it's way over there. I'm distracted. I'm in the middle of doing things. Sorry. I was like, you know what? This look deserves at least an attempt at some makeup. So I'm learning how to do the disconnected wing. I learned today, well, I learned last time I did it, that it's completely dictated by how much of your eyelid overlaps. Because I don't know if you guys remember the other day I had eyeliner on and my eyelids were sticking together. You know, this part of my eyelid comes up and this part of my eyelid comes down. And they were like, bleh. Like I had to sit here and like grab my eyelashes and like pull my fucking face apart. Until I learned that you can dust a little bit of eyeshadow over the top. But anyway, regardless, I don't have to do that if I figure out how to do the disconnected wing correctly. So, sorry, that's what I'm in the middle of. Like you can see, I'm like, oh, okay, you see, like that's why it's called disconnected, because it's kind of up like this and it's disconnected from the bottom part. But it's like designed in such a way that like when my eyes are open, you kind of can't see that it's disconnected. I don't know if this is the correct angle though. I'm still working on getting like, what's the right angle? How far out should I come? Like my eyebrows are not very long. And a lot of the times it's like to the edge of your eyebrow. And I'm like, well, my eyebrow is not very wide, so I don't have that much space. Do I now have to start elongating my eyebrows artificially when I do my eyebrow filler? Where is it? I don't know where my eyebrow filler. When I do my eyebrow filler, I'm gonna have to start like drawing a different shape of my eyebrow all the way out here. I don't know. Anyway, hi. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody's doing well. Did not I need my chat open. Chat. Okay, we've got website chat, which is what's on the screen for you guys to read. And then we've got the YouTube chat, which, hello, how is everybody? Also, let me put the little thingy in here. Woo! Don't forget to hit the like button, but I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Will you please hit like? And then here's some answers. There. Okay, thank you. Still a bit quiet. Okay, let me double check one more thing and make sure. And if I am still quiet, then it's not my problem. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's the last thing I can fix. That's the very last thing that I have any control over whatsoever. Okay, so there's you guys. Let me get this. Boy, howdy. The winged wings of doom. True. And don't forget, we have the treasure chest over here. Let me tell you, the treasure chest, if we get to the $100 donation goal today, is gonna be the final touch, the final little kiss on this outfit. So these are supposed to be dragon wings, but I'll accept demon. I know I'm wearing the pentagon, Jesus, pentagram, fucking kill me. Oh my god, guys. I have not been sleeping super well this week. I've either been woken up super early, which is what happened this morning. I woke up super duper early, or I'm having a hard time going to sleep, or something is happening. So yeah, I just, the brain thinky think time, not doing too good. Okay, what am I in the middle of doing? I was about to do mascara. That's what it's time for. They hit the fucking pentagram. True. Was it the communications volume again? I don't know. Whatever it is. It's in sound settings. I go to sound settings. I click sound. I scroll down. It says input. And I'm like, okay, yes, that's the correct input. And then I click device properties. And it's like, there's a volume slider. Yeah. Didn't get any sleep last night. Yeah, that's a bummer. I am sorry to hear that. Canadian co-host.
Drea
oh my
has
goodness.
donated $50. Let's get the party started.
Thank you, Drea. Oh my goodness. Yeah, way to get the party started. Truly. Thank you so much. That's already halfway to the goal. Let me put that down. Whoa. Not trying to drop my mascara on the floor. Ooh. I love it when number go up. Number go up. Thank you so much. Boom. Appreciate that. I am having a really rough week, so the fact that y'all like hang out is a little bit of an ego boost when I'm like, "Ooh, I don't feel good." And then I'm like, "Yeah, but all these people want to hang out with me." You know? I try to keep that in mind and make sure that I don't feel too down about myself. Yeah. Whoa, halfway there. Hi Meffy. I did a live last night and said in the going live video that if anyone said Wimbledon in chat, I would do a flex. And who boy was that difficult to keep up with, but frankly hilarious. That's pretty funny. Like you made a video that was like, "Hey, I'm about to go live," and you posted that, and then you went live on a separate video. Okay, that's cool. I mean that means that it works. You know, on TikTok, I don't really know anything about TikTok. I don't really use it that much. I think I have it on my phone, but I don't like. I legitimately just do not mess with it very much. Um, okay, hold on. Ooh, 30 likes, 39 viewers. Oh my god. I swear to blob. Um, I'm gonna make a slight adjustment, but I'm gonna be right back. Okay, it may surprise you to know, but this top is acrylic and it's hot. And I don't just mean sexy. I mean it is warm. Way more warm than it should be considering that it is only covering this part of my body. So, yeah. Anyway, whoop. Mm, water. I have water, I have tea, I have to put on my mascara. Like I am in the middle of a task, almost finished with the makeup. We try to keep it simple. Cotton is better than acrylic. Yeah, well, I didn't know that. I just like I didn't really understand different like materials of yarn when I was buying yarn or being purchased yarn. Uh like this is very early in my crocheting career, the last few years. So, yeah, it's acrylic and it's a little bit itchy, but it's cute, right? Like that's what's important. And sometimes it's nice, like at least, if I wanted to be slutty and like go out in public and stuff, it would be warm, you know? Like I would be warm. Okay. Just gonna hold on. I guess no, I can't really you can't really come much further over here. We'll just do this, rotate this a little bit. So I can still talk to you, but I'm gonna be over here looking at my mirror for a second. Mirror, mirror on the desk. Please show me how the heck. Ancient wisdom. Confucius says, "Don't scratch your fucking cornea." Trying to put on mascara. I do find it surprisingly difficult not to stab myself directly in the eye with the mascara stick. It's pretty crazy. Just trying to slow it down. I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing with makeup, but I feel like I'm kind of getting closer to knowing what the fuck I'm doing. And honestly, like, okay, so because of what's wrong with my eyes, I probably should um oh my god, what I was about to say. Oh my no. No, 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 no. Oh my god. I read something in chat and it just completely derailed what I was thinking. Ah, scream. Oh, my eyes. Okay, so I have an astigmatism. So it actually is probably better for me to be wearing contacts, but I have never really worn contacts. So uh I don't really want to learn how, but I have realized that now that I've started to wear makeup because I never did before, I'm like kind of only recently becoming more comfortable with being femme and like exploring that. So, yeah, it's kind of fun to practice makeup. And now I've noticed that I'm less sensitive about like, oh, something's near my eyeballs. Normally I'm really like, I don't like it. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've said hello to the YouTube chat today. Hello, there's Jen Lynn, Trinket, hello, Mabs, we got John slash BEDM, Banana Brains. Hi, hi, hi. What's up, Jess? Oh, I like read your comment earlier, Jess, but did not clock your name at all. Mirror, mirror on the desk, would I look good in burlesque? Oh, I mean, I don't know. There's no question, right? Not gonna lie, the tummy is giving me intense body envy. Yeah, I will say I do have like a natural hip situation that I think that's why trans women get BBLs, where it's a procedure where they suck out fat from the front of your belly and like put it on your ass and hips area. And also they take it in a little bit on the sides here, especially if it's like extra feminizing procedure. They take it off of on top of your hips on the sides, and then they move it down to your ass. Um, because fat, yes, there is some amount of fat distribution, like fat redistribution on HRT, but it's not 100% for some people, and your fat wants to deposit back where it is. So when you gain or lose weight, you tend to gain and lose weight in the same places where you already have fat on your body. And so yeah, like sometimes trans women, the fat redistribution is not quite as much as they would like it to be. Um, and so whenever they gain weight, they're still holding their weight in a way that is dysphoric for them, which is why y'all get Brazilian butt lifts. Cause oh shit, cause yeah, you basically just like it's basically like female body contouring, right? Because I've known guys who've done male body contouring, like trans guys who've had the opposite done, where they've sucked out fat from their hips and ass area and put it on their bellies or like filled out their sides. So it's like, the procedure can be done both directions. It's always a trick to keep the pointy end of the mascara stick out of your eyeball. Yeah, it's the I don't know. I just get too close to my eyeball sometimes, and I get myself with the bristles, and I'm like, ah. My glasses for my astigmatism are just different prescriptions for each lens. Okay, well, so here's the thing. I have an astigmatism and I'm farsighted. So I could get like bifocals, but it would just like to some degree be easier if I could wear contacts, because then like hard contacts change the shape of your eyeball, they correct that, and then separately the prescription part of the lens can address my farsightedness. Or I could have multiple pairs of glasses where like I wear one pair when I'm sitting here at my desk and I wear a different pair when I go driving or something. So those are kind of, as far as I can tell, the options for somebody with my particular set of eyeball problems. I guess I'm thankful that I haven't had to deal with eyeball problems until this late in my life, and now I get to learn the joys of the fucking puff machine and how it's like literally it's impossible not to flinch. Has anyone here ever been to the optometrist and had them do the in your eye and you not flinched? Is there any such thing as being prepared and not flinching for that? Oh, and why am I doing this left-handed? That's dumb. It's so difficult. I always have the impulse to do my right eye first, but my right eye does not is not my camera eye, so it doesn't matter as much. And but it's on it's like my dominant hand, or my writing hand at least, my steady hand. So it's kind of tricky putting makeup on the left side of my face. And I want to start with the left side of my face because I also feel like whichever side you start with is the benchmark, right? If you're drawing a heart, the first half always like looks pretty good. And then the second half is like, what happened here? Um, does anybody else feel that way? I flinch every time. Yeah, the eyeball thing. I've never had my eyes tested. I'm quite excited for glasses though, as I like the style. Yeah, honestly, that is something that's cool. Like, I get to have this like cute librarian look just by adding the glasses to the situation. Like, it's pretty cute. Lots of fun. Okay, I'm almost done with this. Just got to get a little bit on the bottom. Not let my hair get in my eyeballs or inside the makeup. Don't want to mess my makeup or get makeup in my hair. Apparently, I'm one of those dads who makes up songs. My dad used to do that all the time. It's just called me trying to fill the air while intently focused on something that is not you guys. This is kind of why Let's Players seem like they're slowly going insane. Because you like are playing a game, but you also feel like you need to be entertaining the people. I don't know. At least me personally, I kind of don't like streamers who just sit there while they play a game. I feel like you should be adding some more value to it as a performer than just sitting there playing the game. But people like different things. Different communities have different vibes and shit, so I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum or anything. That's just a personal preference. And it bears out in my work. So if I ever play a game or anything, I'm like, oh my God, I have to talk about something while this game is happening. And but because your brain is like so focused on the video game, and you're like, I'm playing the game and I'm pressing the buttons and I have to have the reaction time and stuff, like your mouth kind of has to run on autopilot. And so sometimes you say things and you're like, what did I just say? I have no idea because that part of my brain was just sort of fun. It's like knowing the words to something, like memorizing the words to something, like it's almost not a brain function anymore. It's just like a habit that you don't even have to think about. Like you might even not notice. You're like, I'm halfway through a song and I've been singing along the whole time, but I didn't really process any of that as language. They're just different parts of your brain. Okay. Oh my God. Like, why am I struggling with my right eye now after I just said it's easier for me to do the right eye? Why? I've had glasses since kindergarten. Yeah. My partner's had glasses since he was like 8. He like could see fine before that and then just like suddenly just like while he was growing his eye shape got all fucked up or something. I don't know. Okay, I have to really focus, but I'm going to talk through it anyway. By that, I mean immediately get silent. I'm just going to call that good for now. We'll call that good for now. The glasses are going on anyway, so it will cover up some of my hard work. There we go. Now I'm ready to start the stream. Now let's press play. Okay, where are you guys at? Come back to me, chat. I thought Let's Players are quickly going insane rather than slowly. Yeah. I guess, yeah, it's kind of an immediate insanity. My favorite streams make me feel like I'm at a LAN party hanging with friends. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. You don't want to just watch someone play a game, There's like an experience. It's as though you are sitting on a couch watching someone play a game, Exactly. That's why they have the gamer moments. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna really like sarcastically go off about how you shouldn't criticize video gamers for having gamer moments, but like I felt like the tone that I was about to deliver would have come across sounding too sincere when I was actually joking. mm. Just, yeah, binary second. I've never had my eyes tested. I just need to wait till I'm older and my eyes degrade naturally. Well, depending on how much screen time you have, I think that that's part of why my eyes, like, I'm starting to lose my up close vision. And I think it might be because of like eye strain of looking up close at shit too much. I don't actually know if that's the case. I'll have to ask. Eventually, I'll get a new optometrist and ask them. If you want to watch someone play a game, why not turn on a sports channel? True, that's true. Different stakes. I don't know. Like I didn't really understand sports until I watched some competitive Rocket League. And like I care about Rocket League and I've played a little bit of Rocket League and I can appreciate the skill with which they are playing the game as professionals, at the professional level. So, I never really had team allegiances or anything, but I can appreciate like oh, that was a sick goal. I can't believe he made that. Or like, oh, that was a sick save. Like that was crazy. I did not see that. Yeah, whoa, he just swooped in. Um, so like I can appreciate sports a little bit more if it's like, yeah, you care about the thing. And then the like watching someone do it super well can be satisfying. I just don't give a shit about sports. That's the problem. Um, like I did play softball when I was a kid, but I don't care about baseball. Like, I don't know. It's not, I don't know. I guess it's, maybe if you found a sport really exciting, like if you were in high school and you played football and you found it really exciting, maybe you would care about that in that way where you're like, yeah, it's so exciting to, like they're down in there in the thick of it and everything. I have no clue. I have never asked a football person what they like about football. I should ask my mother in law that because she is into football. I get bored watching others play games that I enjoy playing myself. Okay, so maybe it's about like a fantasy of being able to do something that people otherwise like that people can't do, but like professionals can. I don't know. Yeah, you have to give a shit about the game being played. Yeah, that's basically what I think. What I think the natural conclusion is. I can appreciate athleticism, but I have a hard time enjoying team sports. Sure. There's a lot of proceduralism in sports that is kind of obnoxious, especially in games like football, where you're like a huge portion of the time that you're committed to sitting to watch the game is like downtime between plays. And then the halftime show or whatever. Like, it's just. I think the more organized and like team and rules oriented, like the more it loses me. Rocket League, I think at the competitive level is mostly like 2v2s and 3v3s. Yes, I did make this top. Yes. I feel like I should demur that I did not uh design it. I made it off of a pattern which is now gone. In the middle of me making a second one for a friend as a commission, the pattern is just gone, and I didn't want to try to like recreate it because I didn't want to make a whole bunch of mistakes and take 8 times as long or however much longer. But anyway, yes, I made it. It's cute. Um, some of you may remember that I got my knops pierced about 11 months ago. And so I was like, wait, how is this going to work if cuz like you got to be really careful with fabric. So this is like crochet, right? So there's like space between, like you can see my little finger poking through. There's like space between every one of these stitches. And so you got to be careful if you have barbells in your knops area. So actually what I did is I got some of those big band-aids that are like this big and I did pasties. So it's quite comfortable. Really, I feel very safe. I feel very contained. Things feel quite secure. I think sports culture is more about socializing and drinking than the actual sports. Okay, so I could understand that. I could understand that. Like it's a spectacle, it's an opportunity to have a party. The Super Bowl party is like a really big deal to a lot of people. I know I like as far as marketing tells me, and you guys would have to correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of queers here. Maybe you guys don't know. But do cis men actually like so in the way that women will sometimes be like, I'm hosting a dinner and it's really important to me that it goes well. Um, like with their parents coming over or something like that. Like, when they organize something, when they host a birthday party, like when they take things really seriously, I get the impression that men feel that way about their Super Bowl parties. If they're like, we have to be on top of it. Like who's bringing the dip? Like, oh, I'm going to load up the grill. Like men seem to have a culture of priding themselves on having the best couch and the biggest TV and the nicest grill and the nicest yard for the purpose of Super Bowl parties and other masculine events like that. That's kind of the impression that I have gotten. I don't know how accurate that is. I've liked watching sport related movies, but sitting and watching sports has always been boring. I need the story to stay engaged. Are you one of those people too that's, and this is a joke. I don't actually mean to ask you this question. I want to be clear about that. Are you like one of those people who like can't enjoy porn unless there's a story? You have to like buy into some kind of narrative in order to, be able to properly enjoy and relax into things. Cis here. I have no idea how other cis folk get about Super Bowl or sports parties. That shit is whack AF. Well, yeah, maybe none of you here will know. Only by proxy. Maybe you guys know cis men, but I feel like a lot of you here, and even the ones who are cis men, are going to be like, I am a nerd version of a cis man. And probably not like a macho version of a cis man. That's just my guess about this audience. Although I do think it would be kind of fun to be like the fact that I talk about having been from the trades and kind of like I didn't do a lot of carpentry stuff growing up, but I was certainly around a lot of it, and my husband has been in the trades, so it's like my exposure to people who are blue collar workers kind of gives me a unique angle to talk about that stuff. Like, one of the things we've talked about with climate change that most people don't think about is that if your utility pipes run underneath a road and the temperatures keep increasing, the road, which is black asphalt, will heat up more than the other ground and can melt utility pipes, which can cause issues with like plumbing and electricity, potentially starting fires even. And it's bad. So, but that's like a thing that a lot of people probably would not think about. And so I like having that unique. So I do think it would be kind of interesting if if like over the course of time I ended up being able to like occasionally capture a couple like, blue collar worker type people for my audience. Could be amusing. But I doubt it. Don't think so. Love the wings. Thank you. I painted the tips green a long time ago, and it kind of is giving Christmas vibes, but that's okay. I did not paint the backs green. I was like, I don't need to do that. This is only for camera. That's very funny. Riff says, I've been working blue collar all my life, and I've never been able to get along with my coworkers. You like sports? No. Do you like beer? Also, no. Yeah. I feel like my husband, even though he is like a huge nerd, like he still does pretty well with getting along with blue collar workers. Like, just enough other stuff in common. Or I guess also he just kind of relentlessly exposes his coworkers to his interest as well. Like he's just like decided to assert a completely different kind of guy in this environment. And it seems to be taken in, mixed but mostly well by the kinds of guys that he works with. My understanding of sports and how people engage with it informs my understanding of politics and how people engage with that. In the sense that like politics does play out a lot like team sports in terms of like people get like entrenched in something that they probably were raised with, and it's so like the analogous to religion in that way. Ash Ray, hey, great to have you on the website. I love seeing more people from the line over here. Oh my god, I only just realized there's 65 people here. I like the last time I looked there was like 30 people. I thought I was still playing to a smaller crowd. Thank you so much. And I see we're at 69 likes. Thank you so much. We are halfway to our donation goal for today already. If we get to 100% of that donation goal, which is $50 more, we get to open the treasure chest, which may or may not cause this whole outfit to really come together, to really, I'm trying to decide if I like the job that I did on my eyeliner earlier. So this is new. I'm trying this new thing on the inside of the eye, just a little, kind of thing because, we're trying to like sort of even out. I think that this still needs to be higher. Like, I think this needs to be like on my eyelid a little bit more across this direction to like meet up here a little bit more. Like, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say. I think that this needs to be like over here. And therefore like up higher probably. I don't know. We're still working on things. Ella says, I'm a trans girl and I swear coworkers are always talking about sports. And I'm like, but it's so boring. Yeah. I agree. It's probably social. 4% of the YouTube watchers appear to be very depressed because they said no on the poll. Yeah, that's funny. Ooh, I don't need that. Go away. People love to talk about Trump supporters being a cult, but more fundamentally, that's their sports team, and they'll ride or die for that team. Lest we forget, most people are no more mindful of their vote than they are of much anything else. That's fair. I can see that. Yeah. There's lots of people, yeah, who literally only vote Republican, but only vote Republican because it's their family's thing. Like, well, I was raised Republican, so I've always vote Republican. But it's like you don't know anything about their platform or what they actually vote for or what they actually enact. You don't know anything. I feel like do we think that it would be unfair for there to be like a short quiz before you get to vote that's like, and I don't mean like anything crazy. I just mean maybe even stuff that's directly pertinent to the election. Like, is this candidate?
Riffs No Leads has donated $10. The wings are hot. You decide which I am talking about.
True. Thank you so much. I appreciate that generous dono. Thank you for joining Drea as the 2 donators for today. $60 out of 100. Treasure. I don't know what I was in the middle of saying. We'll get back to it in a second. I'll figure it out. With your help, I'm sure. I'll figure it out. No, I don't know what I was talking about. Now I'm completely off of it. Growing up in the Bible Belt, the number of people that have such staunch beliefs and they literally couldn't tell you why outside of that's what their parents believe. Yeah, it is disappointing. Oh yeah, a quiz. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. Could there be something that's like, do you know anything about this candidate? Like when you are about to vote, like should there be a little questionnaire, just maybe one for each thing that's like, let's say they're voting on a specific tax. And it's like, I don't know, a question like, do you understand what this is about? Like, do you understand that this would result in this or something? I don't know. Or like, do you know anything about this candidate's positions? Is this candidate, pro taxes or anti taxes? I don't know. Fucking pick an issue. Is that like, is that something that would be ridiculous, do we think? Like, like maybe like on an individual issue, like, okay, if you indicate on the quiz that you do not know enough about that issue, then maybe you just don't get to vote on that one. And therefore, like, there's an incentive to be informed, because if you're not informed, then we're preventing you from like impacting other people with your vote. Do you know what I mean? I get the idea, but tests before you're allowed to vote have a very dark history in this country. Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Let's prevent black people from learning how to read and then make it to where you have to be able to read in order to vote. Classic. Also, the problem with this quiz is that it's vulnerable to the same things anything else is, which is that lying in politics is standard. That's true. My back suddenly really hurts. Uh, fucking. Do I just have like spinal instability? It's crazy. Instead of a quiz, instead we could provide an information sheet with the backing party's official one sentence answer. Yeah, such as I feel taxes should be raised because whatever, signed politician A. That's fair, I guess. Like rather than a punitive almost approach with the quiz of like you should have taken it upon yourself to be informed. Um, Instead, if it's like an information sheet where it's like, yeah, this person believes in this, therefore you can now be informed about which one you want to vote for. But again, lying is OP, so politicians should have stat cards that you could see when you vote. Yeah, like this candidate voted against abortion 4 times or whatever, and like have a little scorecard. Oh my god, dude, it's like right in the middle of my back. But see, I'm flexible. I'm flexible to changing the idea. I initially proposed like, should there be a test? And I'm like, I ask the opinions, and it's like maybe a little information sheet to provide more information. Problem is, people would lie. I do think we need a central repository of information about all voters, their history, and what they actually stand for on issues. They can't be on the ballot without answering sufficiently on the database, and those things are checked and fast checked. Sure. So you're saying for the candidates, maybe just like a more rigorous um, test of the candidates. So like rather than like the candidate can say what they have done, like, you know, being like the matter of your political history is public record, effectively. Yeah. The stat cards being like, this one was convicted of 34 felonies. True. Hello, Ember. Indeed, it is spookin' mass. It's spooky mass. There's a website that lets you answer a ton of questions about where you fall on most of the issues and then tells you who you align with. I wish we could have something like that that was actually known and utilized. Yeah, just like something standardized would be better. Good grief, it's warm. I might have to top myself off with some salt water soon because it's warmer than I was expecting it to be today. Honestly, like with the buildings in this part of the world, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of new construction, but I think a lot of it is kind of old. um and or at least not very well put together in the first place. So like sometimes whether I get too hot in my office depends on like whether the sun is out or not. Because if the sun is out, then, you know, the building is getting warmer because of the radiation. So sometimes I'm like, why am I so fucking hot? And then I realize, oh, it's like sunny outside. Even though it's cold still or chilly, like the sun being out makes a big difference. I'm like, oh my God, it's obnoxious. We seem to collectively have an allergy to the concept of civic duty in this country, or anything which carries responsibility. There needs to be a cultural shift to giving a shit about the things we do and who we step on to get where we're going. That's fair too. Yeah, like, I don't know how you do that. It's, I mean, you know, I guess it starts young, instilling a sense of responsibility to other people. Like, it takes a whole generation to fix that problem, then, though. Like, or several generations to get everybody out who has that scarcity mindset still. Some people are dragon slayers. Others are slay dragons. True. Slay. Just fluffing my hair. Yeah, the real solution is better education. Yeah. But that is not going to happen anytime soon. So we just laugh so that we don't cry. Most Americans dodge jury duty. Well, is that because of a lack of civic responsibility to others, or is it because capitalism It's hard for us to get the day off work. We're not going to be fully compensated for the day off work. Our boss might be annoyed with us regardless of the fact that it's jury duty. They'll pressure you in the first place to be like, oh, isn't there some way you can get out of it? We really need you that day. You know, like, we got shafted by the Ides of rugged individualism. That's true. Yeah. I'm really feeling kind of good about the level of engagement with the community that I'm doing. I could be doing more, but in the sense, I guess, that like I feel like I am part of a friend group, which is different than just having a bunch of individual friends. So that's one thing that is important. I can be like, oh, hey, so and so said this earlier. And the person will be like, I know so and so, and they are correct, or whatever. So that's been kind of nice. Just like realizing the last couple days that, you know, a lot of my friends are also friends with each other. And therefore, like, we are a friend group of people who are all friends with each other, which is cool. Yeah, we need you that day. And it's 8 hours of sitting around doing nothing. I actually would love to be on jury duty. Every time I've gotten a call up, it's been canceled, though. Ugh, that's a bummer. I got called for jury duty at one point, but it ended up getting dismissed, I think. Like, or the thing didn't actually go to trial or something. I don't fucking know. Andy, we can see you in the chat. Oh, Billow says, maybe this is a UK thing, but I get mailed a booklet before an election. It's not as standardized, but each candidate gets a single page in the booklet to state their name, party affiliation, and give a pitch. But it basically just feels like ads. Yeah, because the problem ultimately with those is like, you know, people can lie. And so, yeah, I can see the benefit of something like a stats card or a scorecard that is more, you know, we are going to have an actual record of your votes. You know, obviously that could be difficult for a person who is new to politics. Like, I guess we could pull the public record, or is it public? Like, the last couple times there's been a shooter, one of the things that people do is like, oh, what, you know, did they vote previously? And, you know, then we find out that they typically are voting Republican. So could we get like those records for somebody who's trying to run for office for the first time and be like, are you like, where have you, who have you voted for in the past? And then once you are up for re-election, then yeah, being like, okay, well, this person originally said that they had these values, but did they actually conform to those values? Here's how many times they voted against something that they said that they would support, or, you know, whatever. Thank you. I love my pentagram top as well. It's cute. I think it was originally a starfish that the original pattern designer did in like a peach color, but you know. Oh my god, who is talking to me? Okay. You cannot see their votes, as that is not public record, but you can see what party they have been registered for. Okay. People who have a sense of civic duty will get bounced from jury selection for being too biased. Same for anyone who pays attention to the news. Yeah, they don't want informed jurors. I don't actually know if that's the case, but your actual vote is private and there's lots of levels of protection to keep it that way. Yeah. So I guess, do people just say like, oh, this person was registered as a Republican? I don't mean to stir any shit. Are your wings upside down? No. Each Oregon ballot that arrives in the mail comes with a voter's pamphlet describing the nature of the measures and candidates. Oh, cool. I look forward to getting to find that out the next time there's a ballot that's going to go out, which should be in November, right? I guess it depends on what county you're in. Yeah, and I have friends who are registered Republicans so that they can vote in the primaries, but they may typically vote Democrat or independent. Nice. Nice. I think I might actually need to sit down. My back, like, this does not normally occur. It's like the very middle of my back is super sore. Ugh. Not in a way that I'm worried that I have like a spinal injury or anything, but it's just like, ooh, why do you feel that way? Why? Why have you done this? Ugh. You should have already gotten your pamphlet for this year. Okay, maybe I should check the mail. Donations to parties are public record. Yeah, I think so. I don't understand this whole registered thing. In New Zealand, we hardly ever have a one party only government, always a co government of some sort. Well, yeah. So the main thing is like if you're registered as a Republican or a Democrat or whatever in the United States, in each state typically, that changes whether you can vote in the primary. So, like in August, we will vote on like who we want to be the Democratic candidate in the primary. So Democrats get to vote on who they want the Democrat to be on the ballot in November. And then there's the November general election. But and some states do have what's called open primaries where anyone who's registered as anything can vote in any primary. But yes, so a lot of the times you can only vote in said primaries if you are registered as a member of that party. And yeah, because I guess the thing is like, why would you want Republicans coming in and voting in the Democratic primary? You know, the Republicans are going to come in and vote for the candidate that they think is easier to defeat, whereas the Democrats want like the candidate who is strongest. So that's kind of what it means to be registered as a voter, as a party member, a particular party. I think I'm registered unaffiliated right now. Yes on 50. What is this in California? I have not been paying attention to the news. I've been I deleted all the social medias off my phone again, except for like Reddit. So I have not been quite paying as much attention to the news. Also, I'm dealing with shit constantly in my personal life, so just kind of tired. I wish Oregon had open primaries, or at least that they were open to independent or unaffiliated voters. I feel like that would make the most sense, right? Um, although, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, like unaffiliated voters might be. Should you just be able to vote in whatever primary if you're an unaffiliated voter? Is there any? Is there any reason? Yeah, I guess if you're the kind of person who would vote in the Democratic primary to try to fuck them over and get a weak candidate for the Democrats, then you would just register unaffiliated because then you could vote as a Republican or a Republican or a Democrat in the primaries. 50 is a bill or whatever, a proposition to gerrymander back the 5 seats that Texas stole. Oh, okay. So it's like the basically California fighting back and being like, well, fuck you. You redistricted Texas. We're going to redistrict California. And, you know,
Logic has donated $10. Hi Lux, hi chat. I hope everyone is keeping safe and well.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody's keeping safe and well too. Appreciate you, Fuzzy Logic. Generous donations. Um, yeah, so I don't see why we wouldn't play dirty of like, okay, well, you guys want to gerrymander away all, you know, when it's not appropriate for you to even redistrict and everything. So yeah, it's obnoxious. But anyway, thank you so much for that donation. That brings us to $70, 30 more dollars, and we get to put the star on top of the tree of this Halloween outfit. Not sure where we're going to get back all the other Republican seats being illegally added in states beyond Texas. I know there are several. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the answer to this is. I don't know that there really is a good answer. Uh, I feel like it's good at least that we're trying to fight back. You know, that is one thing I will say. Oh, thank you.
Inabox gifted 5 tier 2 subscriptions. Brain isn't braining properly right now. Pretend I said something witty.
Indeed. 5 tier 2. Okay, so tier 2 subs are $10. So, okay, so that's a $50 donation. Thank you so much, in a box, for those gifted tier 2 subs and the people who received them. Billow, Jom Gervo, Nouvenon, the Verna Bean, and Melanie H. Enjoy your blue names and your access to the secret emojis. Thank you so much. Okay, that means that we have just reached the goal. I don't know what the exact dollar amount is, and I'm not going to try to math it right now. But we made it to the treasure chest. I'm excited for this. I actually put this thing in... I put this thing in the treasure chest like a month or two ago, and we didn't get to open the box, and I was really sad. So I'm glad that we finally get the opportunity. It's my horns. I feel like everybody knew that that was coming, but I haven't worn them in a long time. Woo! Okay, please, thank God. Nothing died. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. Nothing's broken. Nobody's nipples were crushed. Everything's fine. Oh my goodness, we've got people coming in here from the line. Hello. Oh my gosh, we have 73 viewers and currently 106 likes. Thank you so much. Yes, it's time to get horny. Whoa. It's, oh wow, I didn't know that. So Arnold Schwarzenegger is going on and on about how unethical Proposition 50 is in California, yet he's not saying anything about the red states who are doing it all over the place. No kidding. Like, the fact that people will, you know, get their panties all in a twist about the Democrats doing something, but then the Republicans do it, and it's like crickets. And literally, he is a Republican, is he not? Correct me if I'm wrong. Arnold was an elected Republican candidate, a Republican governor of California. Am I tripping, or is that correct? Oh my God, I accidentally tied my hair in this knot and it won't come loose now. Okay. Crime Cat, welcome to the website. Longtime watcher of the line and Takis. Just want to say I love your content and takes. Appreciate you. Glad to finally know your pronouns are it's. Yeah, it's it/they. And honestly, if you hang around in like any of the, especially if I'm hosting a show that's not Takis, like I did Chewed Gum this week, there are people in the chat who are constantly correcting people about my pronouns. I don't know how I feel about it, but I guess thanks for being vigilant. You're right. Arnold used to oppose Trump's power grabs. Ooh, shots fired. I just realized I'm going to have to take this off if I want to put my hair back on the other side. Okay, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. Utah is fighting over redistricting maps right now. It is infuriating. I mean, it's pretty damn red anyway, but they're trying to break up Salt Lake County, which is pretty blue now. Yeah, isn't that so shit? Like, the one big city center they want to, like, take the teeth out of. Truly rule by the minority. He was famously the governor. Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew that he was the governor, but specifically he was a Republican governor. Like, Those are really cute horns. Thank you. They're supposed to be like dragon horns. So I guess like Maleficent or something vibes. Dragon. But, you know, it serves for demon as well. The awesome Halloween costume was the real treasure all along. So true, babe. So true, bestie is what I was trying to say. La, la, la. The Goobernator. I live in Idaho, and there's this weird movement to have a chunk of Oregon merge with Idaho. Yeah, I started seeing signs for that, like billboards for that, almost as soon as we moved here earlier this year. I live in Oregon, and yeah, it's like basically the eastern half of Oregon on the other side of the coastal mountains, or not the coastal, Jesus, the Cascade Mountains is pretty red leaning, and they're like, we don't want to be part of Oregon anymore. We want to go do our own to be part of Idaho and not have to pay. It's so interesting because like those counties, okay, so very similar to how it plays out on the national stage, red counties receive more aid from the state than the state gets from them in taxes. So when you're a red county and you're like, we want to move out of a red state, like we want to officially become a part of a different state, you're basically saying like that you have no fucking idea how much your economy depends on Portland. Literally, your economy depends on Portland and the taxes that are generated by the high income paying and like all the additional like business taxes and stuff that are for businesses in Portland. Like, girl, ridiculous. TBH, I'm surprised the Dems got their shit together for the shutdown and are actually standing on business there. I guess I'm kind of surprised about that too. Yeah, like what? I don't know. I haven't really looked into any, you know, individual motivations. I'm guessing that it's pretty much the crux issue is the healthcare subsidies, which I appreciate them fighting for it. I was looking into getting a marketplace health plan, and there was one that was like a pretty decent plan, and it would have been affordable with the subsidies. And I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, partially because like I haven't had the extra money. Um, you know, the extra money that to start going to the doctor and getting health insurance and stuff. Oh my god, I almost feel like I should put on that bodice thing, but it might cover up. You know, I might at least see what it would look like. My back is just so unstable right now. Thank you. I appreciate the compliments on the outfit. Boobies. You know how it is. I can't sign into your site. It keeps trying to get me to register and that the username is already made. I think you have been on my website before. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe you need to clear cache and cookies. That is usually the first thing to do. Do you have a foam roller? I do, but I'm in the middle of the show right now. Like, I own a foam roller, but I'm in the middle of the show where I'm standing up and talking to you. Same with the further northern California counties who want to secede from lower California, which is where LA is. It's crazy. They have no idea how much they depend on the Bay Area and LA counties. Fucking true. Like, you have no idea how much you depend on the taxes from Democratic strongholds. Exactly, Mabs. The three biggest, wealthiest cities in Oregon run straight down the Willamette Valley. You want to cut yourself off from them and get what exactly? They just don't like Tina Kotek. They're like, we want to get away from this lesbian governor. Hey, Kitty. Kitty says those farmers that make 40% of their income in the area concerned from cannabis farming, which is not legal in Idaho. The single most profitable dispensary in Oregon is at a border town with Idaho. Oh, gosh. I wanted to ask on your Cloudflare policy. I use a VPN on my network and it won't let me visit unless I turn it off. I have absolutely no control over any of that kind of stuff. I pay someone to maintain the website for me, and I think it's standardized across all of the websites that are on this network. So I cannot help you with the VPN thing. I'm so sorry. Chuck Schumer tried so hard to compromise on something, but Trump is refusing to let the Republicans negotiate with the Dems. Trust me, they didn't grow a spine overnight. Yeah, that's fair. I do feel like there are like several Democrat holdouts, you know? Um, and it's like both that the Republicans refuse to negotiate with the Democrats to make sure that, you know, we keep these subsidies and stuff, but also that the Democrats are, they are not just voting for it for the sake of lubricating the, you know, keeping the thing going, like keeping the thing churning. Fuzzy Logic says, I have the login issue sometimes because I forget my Lux account is linked to Twitch and I try to log in with YouTube or Discord. I would recommend having at least two things hooked up so that you have a backup in case like one of them is inaccessible or goes down. You know, like maybe the Discord servers go down. So if you have your Discord and your YouTube account, then you'll be able to access it through one of them. What else do we have going on this week? I feel like I'm just like dealing with a lot personally. And so, like, during those times, I really feel like I don't have as much stuff to talk about because I'm like, well, I'm not really doing a lot because I'm just kind of depressed and I don't want to talk about the super personal things on stream because I'm just not that kind of person who's like, yo, I'm going to talk about all these really sensitive things. Um, Richard does ask, you said you adopted your siblings. May I ask why? I only ended up adopting one of my siblings. And the reason is basically that, like, my parents were supposed to be homeschooling them and they just weren't at a certain point. And so basically, like, my sibling was suffering from educational neglect as well as just like general, like, lack of socialization and, like, you know, has all these like neuroses and issues because my parents are neglectful. So, um, yeah, I didn't know how bad it was because I didn't live at home and I never really asked. I just kind of assumed that things were going the way they were supposed to be going, but they were not. And so I was like, oh my God, in order for you to be a person, I am going to have to take over here. And that's what happened. So now I have a person that I take care of. Being a parent is hard. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm going to grab a handful of salt really quick and refill my water. I will be right back. Not knocking anything over. Okay. Handful of salt. Yummy. Salt water sounds unpleasant to just drink. Well, I don't drink salt water. What I do is I reach my fingies into my salt well in my kitchen, and the way that I would do when I'm cooking, and I grab a pinch of salt and I go, and then I go glug glug, and I take it like a pill. Mm. Pickles are good. Olives, also a great choice. Another part is the Democrats want a piece in the bill preventing Trump from just not appropriating funds, which, yeah, Congress votes to allocate the funds. Um, yeah. Got it back in. Got in. Had to log in with Discord. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's usually the thing. Yeah, olives are delicious. I love olives. The wings are kind of like digging into my armpits a little bit, so I'm just gonna hold them for a second. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I was supposed to play World of Warcraft with my buddy after stream today, but instead he's gonna hang out with somebody he knows because he's about to move up here. Like my buddy is gonna be here next week, moving up here from Kansas, which is very exciting. And he seems to be fully on board with the idea of like just taking COVID precautions from now on, which is cool. Which means that like hanging out with him will be a lot easier. Olives are wonderful. I have no taste for pickles, but I do like dill as a seasoning. Yeah. I think I'm kind of like losing my taste for pickles. You know, like it's just I don't know, there's like a the extreme tanginess of like the kosher dill pickle is just like not as appealing to me as it used to be, which feels insane because I have always really loved pickles, but now I'm like if I'm going to get salt, I would rather it be from something else. There's no point. Yeah, there's no point in finishing the budget when Trump will just straight up ignore the budget anyway. Fucking true. Yeah, like what is the point of passing a budget if Trump is just going to be like, "LOL, I've decided that I am not going to let you give the funding." Like, oh, what? Dill is amazing on a salad, also in potato soup. Yeah. I also had fresh dill from the garden last year when I made potato salad. So that was fun. I put it on the top. I put it on top. Tip from a potser, kosher salt is excellent as a snacking salt. Yeah, I just walk into my kitchen, into my thing of yeah, I guess it's like kosher flaky salt. It's like my flaky salt that I normally use when I cook. Um and yeah, I just eat it. And yes, I have pots also. At least that's what I'm like I'm behaving as though I have pots, and everything I do that's meant to manage pots helps me manage my condition. So, put hot sauce on a dill pickle. Ooh. Yeah, we're fully in on a food discussion now, huh? Meggles says 1 packet of Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning in 1 jar dill pickles. Shake and let sit overnight. Best way to enjoy pickles. Ooh. This is unrelated to the pickles thing, but I am trying to find more like small ways to incorporate like forms of salt and like snacks and stuff, and like healthy snacks too. So recently I was eating some chips, some unhealthy chips, you know? Like I was straight up just eating like store brand cheddar sour cream Ruffles, off brand Ruffles, you know? And partway through eating them, I was like, you know, I could make this a little bit better if I got a little bowl of Greek yogurt and just like maybe I can add some seasonings to it. Maybe I'll add a little bit of salt. Maybe I'll put some like onion and garlic powder in there. And that's what I did. And it was pretty delicious, actually. And I also have been making like wraps recently where like I'll maybe like chop up a bunch of cucumber and then put in Greek yogurt and feta cheese and just eat a wrap, like the high fiber tortillas that I bought. And that's been pretty good too. Can I call in? I don't do call ins on my own show. Dear fucking Christ, that sounds like a nightmare. If you want to speak to me from chat, though, I actually acknowledge chat during my show, which we don't do during the call in shows. A pinch of sea salt in Famous Dave's sweet, spicy pickles brine for the win. True. Isn't celery pretty high in salt? I don't actually know. You should check out Grillo's Pickles if you haven't already. No, I haven't. Grillo's Pickles is a pickle place? Like, what do? They do special things? I'm eating french fries right now. I'm honestly a little bit jealous of that. Fuzzy Logic says, I was at a skeptics convention over the weekend. I found out afterwards that a couple people had asymptomatic COVID all weekend, but nobody else caught it because they stayed masked. True, see? Yeah, absolutely. Just stay masked. Like, not only are people contagious when they're asymptomatic or pre symptomatic, but they're actually shedding like the most. They're shedding the most viral. Like, people are most contagious right before they develop symptoms. So you can't go based on like, oh well, I'm symptomatic or not. Like, no. I've always found celery to be high and gross. I like it. I like it. What are your opinions on half sour pickles? I don't know what that means. I recently ate a bread and butter pickle and was like, I don't hate this the way that I thought I was going to, having tasted them before. But it's still not like I don't want to eat one. I'm still not like, yay. Can I call in? I just want to say hi. No. Um, that was a joking no. If you were being serious in your question, I don't take calls on this. Um, and like I guess we do take appreciation calls on Takis, even though I would prefer that we took fewer of them. I'm just looking for elder trans people. Well, John, I would say if you're looking for older trans people to talk to, or like people who've been out for a while, then you should check out the Discord server because even though I am not particularly available to give out emotional support, there are plenty of trans people in my community who would love to talk to you. Don't the tests depend on the symptoms being present? No. No. I think it's just like how much virus is in your mucus and shit, and like there's a bunch of virus in your mucus even if you're not sick yet. I think you did do call-ins on one of your first couple of streams. I feel like I tried to do it a couple times and it just like ended. Yeah, I guess I did it like once on Discord. I was like, yeah, let's hop in on Discord, but yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really like it that much. I don't remember it very clearly at this point because it's been a few years. Half sours are a little sour, but mostly salty. They're fairly divisive in my experience. I love them. I tried to get on, but it was at the very end of the stream. Yeah. Grillo's pickles are cold packed, mega crunchy pickles packed in grape leaves, slices of garlic, and giant sprigs of fresh dill. They are really, really flavorful. I usually find them either at Winco or Fred Meyer's stores, but you can probably find them elsewhere. Ooh, okay. Grillo's pickles. I have to be on the lookout for that. Okay, I'm just gonna step away for a second and see if I can like roll my back out for a minute, or maybe grab my corset on the way back and just put it on. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna be back in a minute. I'm so sorry. My back just like really hurts, and I will probably sit down too when I get back. We'll see, but I'll just be gone for like 5 minutes or something. I'm not gonna put on music. Sorry. Hold on 1 second. Ah! Okay, you know what? I did get my back to pop, but that didn't quite fix the problem. So we're just gonna sit down. Woo! Dropping stuff on the floor. Ugh, dropping stuff on the floor. The quiet makes me want chicken tenders. What an interesting response. Chicken tendies. The quiet makes you feel safe. The chicken tendies make you feel safe. I'm like, is it bad enough that I do need to sit down? Like, I really do prefer to stand while I'm streaming. It's fine. It's fine. I give up. Blah. Blah. I'll put the horns back on. You earned it. Give me a second. Oh. Oh, sitting feels so much better. Oh my gosh. With all that pickle talk, it's time for some dill pickle pistachios. Ooh, that sounds yummy. I haven't had pistachios in a bit. I haven't been eating nuts as much just because I'm like, I find it difficult not to be super snacky, you know? And then, like, you want the snacks to be, like, lower calorie if you're going to snack a lot. And, girl, pistachios are not low cal. I've been conditioned. I hear the jazz dog in my head. True. Oh. Okay. I'm still not comfortable, but this is better. Middle ground solution, lean up against the wall. It's not quite standing, but it's not quite sitting either. Maybe if I get my lavalier mic attached to my computer, which I have not made the time to do that yet, but when I get my lavalier mic attached to my computer, then that could be good. Growing wings suddenly is bound to mess with your spine. You know, can't argue with that. You make a compelling argument. Oh my god, please. I switched to pumpkin seeds to keep the snacky issues at bay. Seems to be working so far. I don't know if I like them. I guess I gotta actually try them sometime. I think I tried pumpkin seeds a long time ago, and maybe they were just really overcooked, but they just seemed like really chewy and not very flavorful, and like did not feel like it was worth it. Okay. Ugh. If I snack extra, I chase it with Monster Zero. I did get some fiber gummies, like some just like gummy candies that are fiber candies. And sometimes if it's nighttime and I feel that I'm going to want to keep snacking after dinner, especially, I'll just take the fiber gummies after dinner so that I feel full. I guess maybe I should just expect crunchy when I eat pumpkin seeds. Maybe that's the problem. I just didn't know what to expect. Is everybody struggling? Had a spinal ablation this afternoon. I don't know what that means, but it sounds bad. My back has been super tight for the last 2 days. Yeah, it's like, I think it's because I'm not sleeping enough. Like, genuinely, I was woken up at 5:30 this morning and I just fucking laid there until after my partner left for work, which was like 2 hours. Which, you know, I guess I do kind of feel good that I laid there and I didn't like sit there on my phone. I guess I did a little bit of on my phone like after my partner got up for work, but before he went to work. I was like, I'm on my phone for like 30 minutes, but it was not too bad. I eat a lot of raw carrots. True, crunchy and fibrous and tasty. Yeah, we're all old. Sometimes recently when I'm producing a show for the line, I'm in charge of like the polls. You know, like every time I get people to touch their screen or click on something, it is positive engagement for the show. So I will change the poll periodically during the show. And one that I've asked a couple times, like the other day, I was like, my neck is so sore. And I actually have the massage gun at my area right now because I was like using it on my traps. And yeah, I was like, hey, how is everybody's neck doing? And some of the answers to the poll were like, I'm doing good because I still have my youth. I'm doing good. I'm tempting God. Like, as in, like, I'm old and I'm tempting God by saying that my back doesn't hurt. Or, you know, don't ask or something as the third answer for those who are in back pain. I noticed that our audience does skew a little bit older. Like, I think my most recent poll of that ended up being like 84% of people were split between the don't ask and I'm tempting God. So they were older people. That's my guess based on like my intentions of how I framed the poll. Maybe that's not accurate as a way to interpret it, but that's what I intended. I can usually tell when you're producing by the polls. LOL. Yeah. Um, I don't know how other people do it, I guess. Like, I know how Arden does it. We have a format on Takis where it's like you guys can participate in the poll when we do our poll, like the whatever, when we post on the community tab and we talk about our opinions for the week and everything. And then again for, the punishment or whatever. Yeah. So we have like proscribed things. I don't really know how other producers do producing, And I'm learning and I'm making mistakes and I'm being corrected. Like, we're definitely still in that phase where I'm like, okay, I was doing it this way. I understand I need to do it a different way now. My goal for myself in this job is to just be very easy to manage and available often. And I want to be shown to, I want to be like, I'm a go-getter and I am not difficult to take correction. Like, if somebody's like, hey, you need to do this differently, I'm going to be like, okay, yep, gotcha. Even if I have a good argument for why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, I feel like I'm at a place with this where I'm like, I offer enough of my, there's been several things where I've been like, Jimmy, I think you really should do this way. And he has taken some of that. And there are some things where I'm like, I am not going to push this. And so, learning how to find that balance, I think, is important. Thank you so much, Carbon Stick, with the $10 donation in the super chat, who says, I was impressed by how you handled Andrew and Jacob yesterday. Really? You were impressed? Because I felt like I lost my patience. That did not necessarily feel like handling it well. But thank you if you thought that. I appreciate it. I'm sure that that's probably going to end up being on my list. Okay, so I have a list of calls that I'm going to do reviews for. Like, I'm going to review the calls and post them on my channel. You guys may have seen I did one last week where we had like a almost 40-minute long call with a guy called Michael. It was Dr. Ben and myself. And I'm going to keep doing that for a while and see how it goes. So I've got a couple on deck that I need to go through and like figure out how I want to respond to and what I want to analyze. And so I don't know because I have like 3 Andrew ones now. Like I have like a collection of 3 Andrew ones. I don't know if I should upload them because people who know the line are frustrated by Andrew. People who don't know maybe are going to be like, what the fuck is up with this guy? Or like, what is the point of this conversation? It doesn't feel like we really get anywhere with him. Basically, I feel like the only reason to keep taking Andrew is because we get catharsis from yelling at him. That's kind of the only thing I feel I get out of those calls anymore, is just being able to be like, oh my God, you're a dumbass. And then he kind of never pushes back on any of that. And he's not one of those whiny callers who's like, oh my God, how could you insult me? How could you ad hom me? So it's kind of fun in that way where he's kind of just a punching bag. But like, I feel like we should have a point. If we've been talking to him for months now, it can't just be dumb regurgitate, like, and it's like always more dumb shit, more crazy dumb shit every time. A different set of dumb, crazy opinions. How did that last call review perform? It performed about average for my videos. It didn't perform great, but it performed about average. I just need to probably pump up the game on thumbnails. Like, that's probably the main difference. I didn't try very hard on the thumbnails for that one, from being real with you. Andrew is almost always a, quote, good call for clips because he doesn't do a bunch of over talking like other assholes. But I mean, like, for the purposes of me taking the clip, and what I'm doing is, thank you.
Dank Cat Lord got a tier 1 subscription.
Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, Dane Catlord. I appreciate it. Enjoy your dicks and other emojis. Andrew is good for clips. Andrew is good for clips. However, I don't know if he is going to benefit me because I'm not just re-uploading the clips. I'm like, hey, let me introduce this. Here we had this caller a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to analyze it. And what I did this recent time is I just basically like reviewed the entire transcript, and then I like had some thoughts that I recorded, and I put that after the call on the video. And some people said like, oh, I'd love to see your commentary throughout. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Hold on. Okay, my kid just telling me that they're going to do something after school today. Okay, great. Oh, there was a message. Oh, sorry. I just realized I've been watching this stream for like 3 years since it first started. Keep up the great work. That is so cool, Dank Catlord. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I guess it was February 2022. So we did it was technically my 3-year anniversary. Well, not technically. It was my 3-year anniversary of becoming a full-time like streamer, content creator. I've been creating content elsewise, but no, but what I was saying is like, yeah, I bet people want to have me like sit there and be like, and like pause Andy as I watch and react to the thing. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm willing to like literally sit there and rewatch the entire call. But maybe I might like review the transcript and like record commentary that gets intercut in, or like maybe I pop up in the corner while the screen is paused and I talk about stuff in between. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly the way is for that. But I appreciate you all who've been here for so long, whether it's, I've been doing the line. I've been doing appearances on the line. Was it in 2022? I guess I couldn't have done any guest positions before then because I didn't have the flexibility. Like, I had a real job and I wouldn't have been able to do streams at 2 p.m. until I started working for myself. So, yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, this guy called and was dumb and wrong about everything doesn't make good analysis fodder for what you're going for. Yeah, or at least commentary, like, I guess I don't necessarily have to do, like, quote-unquote analysis every time. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like going forward, but I just wanted to add a little bit of value to it and have it not be strictly just a re-upload of the call. And I want to start the video with me in this presentation because this is familiar to people who already watch my show. Pulled up a VOD from March 22 and saw myself in chat. Hell yes. Oh no. Andy says I would shove a screwdriver through my ears if I had to listen to 2 hours of Andrew. Yeah. I truly do not understand him. I'm like, what are you getting out of this? I don't understand. Luxander, I like you, but as a trans woman, I have more in common with Arden. Hey, no, I get it. We've all got different stuff going on. I was one of the folks who asked that question. What I meant was the pause and comment, so it's a similar amount of work, not the sit and watch at one speed style. Sure. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. So I might, I'll read the transcript and I'll be like, okay, at this point in the transcript, I want to cut in and make this commentary. So that's what I'm going to do. Maybe analyze your performance. Yeah, basically, it's like, I'm planning on kind of sticking with this, here's what I found interesting about this call. Here's where I thought we made progress. Here's what was frustrating about it. I don't really even know maybe a little bit of like, here's why I made this argument. Um, or I mean, and necessarily there will probably be some criticism or commentary on my performance because I'm like, yeah, I lost my temper with this one, or um, whatever kind of stuff, or like, the other host made a really good point. That's, I don't know. I have no fucking idea what to do. So I'm just kind of trying shit. I'm having a really hard time getting much work done that isn't like, I'm showing up for stream on a pretty regular basis, which is great. And then I'm showing up for my hosting and producing, and I did a fuck ton of additional hosting and extra like stuff for the Patreon and stuff in October this month. So I'm just like, I'm gonna get paid so fucking good next month. Oh man, it's gonna be good. But I just have been really like personally like depressed and dealing with a lot. Um Luckily I did finally reach a point where I was like, I'm going to reach out to some of my friends. Excuse me. I skipped the call part of the video. I usually skip those kinds of call on the live show too. Oh, the guy who was like, I'm religious and I don't like trans people, or just like any spicy ones. Yeah, the benefit of not watching live, you get to skip the stuff you don't want to see. True. But I'm like, I would love to, like, I'm having a difficult time. I've still got more video essay stuff type of stuff that I would like to make. And now that there's the tagging function on YouTube, I feel like I can actually post on a separate channel, but still get some of the benefit of my original audience without worrying about like screwing up my main channel or things not being able to pick up momentum on my main channel because I'm trying to pivot shit. Like, I do a podcast, and some of you might now be aware of the podcast. I totally thought the wings were part of your chair in the thumbnail. I was wearing them on my back, and I just took them off earlier because my back hurts and I had to sit down. It used to be attached to the back of my chair. That's true. It did. I feel like there's a lot of depression going on these past 2 weeks. Yeah. It's so interesting when things happen cyclically, or like it seems like everybody's struggling through the same thing, or sometimes I feel like things are going well for me personally when things are going badly for other people. And obviously we have sort of collective, oh, if there was really bad news for the trans community this week, we're probably all going to be feeling bad about it. Yeah, the collaboration feature. Oh yeah, I was in the middle of saying, you probably know about my podcast now, which maybe you didn't know before because of that feature where it now shows up to the subscribers of the collaboration channels as well. So yeah, some of you might know about the podcast now when you might not have seen it before. But yeah, so my depression is basically like exclusively because I have personal problems with the people who are closest to me in my life. And I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. But I did finally reach out to a couple of my friends over the past couple of nights. Got some reassurance and some validation, and I feel like I have a pretty clear idea of what I need to do going forward. And unfortunately, what I need to do going forward is have some really difficult boundaries. My therapist says she's hearing similar things from a lot of her patients regarding things on a national level. Yeah, I feel like I don't fucking know what's going on I don't even care what's going on in politics right now. I completely do not have the energy to think about it at all. So if things have recently gotten weirder than usual, I might not have heard about it. It seems like things are just kind of going on business as usual, terrible right now. Like nothing uniquely bad has happened recently. Kat Abugazale is being sued by the federal government now. That's a new thing that I learned today. My gender is fluid. My depression is adamantine. No. Jimmy and Promise had a who's who of stupid ones today. Yeah, that's not surprising. The vertical show gets some of the weirdest people on there. it's very tempting to just ask any anti-trans debater if they're a theist first thing, because I guarantee they hold trans people to a higher standard of evidence than God, but it feels like avoiding the argument. I mean, there are probably going to be times where that might be appropriate. Maybe I will pivot on that sometime. Maybe I'll pivot on that once, once or twice. I'm gonna steal that. uh, if I ever do a show with you, Mephi, though, I'll let you make that point. You can do it. Oh man, we had a guy who called last night, who I feel like we're actually helping him deconstruct. Like, I think he might be in the process of a pretty good deconstruction. So I feel like we're accomplishing something. I crashed out hard about a month and a half ago and have been in such a deep depression. I'm literally undergoing treatment 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. I'm so sorry. That sounds really difficult. I'm glad you're getting the treatment that you need, though. That's good. I've resigned myself to hearing the news from friends and family. If it's something I actually need to know, I'll probably hear about it. True. I've only heard of one atheist transphobe, and it's Helen, the Jews are evil Joyce. No, Richard Dawkins is anti-trans. Who else? Did Sam Harris also say something about trans people, or am I just transferring the Islamophobic remarks that he has made in this situation? Yeah, Richard Dawkins, very famously a transphobic atheist. Okay, I will steal it. Yeah. I felt like he was on his way out the religious door, and it was a nice change after Jacob and Andrew. Yeah, like, I think I remember talking to him before. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I was just producing, but I remember, yeah, this. Um, I think maybe that might have been when Taylor was going off about free will or something, that, like, no amount of free will during your time on Earth could possibly be worth being in hell for the rest of eternity. Um, so yeah, if he was just of the opinion of, like, yeah, God does want you to be with him and come to heaven and stuff, but he won't torture you forever if you don't make it there. And I'm like, okay, well, that's more reasonable. I could let a lot of things go if that's what you believe. Like, we could, now maybe we can talk about the more base religious claims of, like, does it make sense to believe in God in the first place? But that is, I think, a separate question to the question of, like, free will and, do you meaningfully have free will if hell is the thing that is motivating you, or if heaven is the thing that's motivating you, even. I forgot about Dawkins. After all of his nonsense about gendered souls, he no longer registers as an atheist to me. That's funny. Richard, I'm culturally Christian. Dawkins, true. Looking at the new atheist stuff, I've seen, the new atheist split several years ago. Lots of them went to alt-right, mostly the cishet white men. Yeah, I mean, the new atheist community had a breakdown. Yeah, one of our callers was like, oh, atheism plus. And I was like, wow, you're showing your age a little bit. I was joking with him. I don't think he got it. Like, oh, you're showing your age a little bit because that was fucking 13 years ago or something along those lines. Atheism plus was such a long time ago. I got called satanic at work today. Oh my gosh. Do you you work with customers? So a customer called you satanic? I had completely forgotten how Dawkins responded to Rebecca Watson's elevator gate thing. And when I was reminded of that, it was a big, oh, that makes sense moment. Yeah. Dear Muslima, was that his response to or was that something else? Oh my God. It's been too long. I think Forrest was talking to a person who believes if you're bad, your soul just gets destroyed after death. And that sounds better than heaven to me. People like fear non existence. I mean, really, what they fear is death, right? And a way that they can feel better about death is by feeling like that's not the end of their existence. But the thought of the end of existence is is like the terror thing about death. Like that's what's so terrifying. So, um, as an atheist, you have to confront that a lot more directly. Or, there are other faith traditions that don't include an afterlife or reincarnation that, yeah, you do just have to kind of confront that. Annihilation is on the horizon someday. He was a prick to Rebecca over the whole thing. Yeah, totally. I don't even remember what the selfish gene was about Richard Dawkins. Like, I guess I don't know if I ever read his book. I think we might own, like, my partner might own one of his books, but I've never, like, sat down to read it. I do find it odd how most Christians have appropriated the non biblical belief in hell as a place for eternal torture. That was a product of the Catholic Church. Yeah, it's they want to be like Catholics aren't real Christians, but then they take a bunch of stuff from Catholic tradition. It's pretty stupid, but it's a form of evolution, right? One religion comes from another, etc., etc. Oh my god, my hair is getting crazy. What are you doing? You being crazy? Because I keep pushing it forward. In fairness, part of the belief in an afterlife comes from the inability to imagine non existence. It's not something we've ever experienced. Yeah, but like I can imagine like falling asleep, right? Like basically when you die, it's kind of like falling asleep in the sense that you lose consciousness, right? So I can imagine like falling asleep and then my awareness is just over forever and then like there is no such thing as me anymore. I'm able to like obviously there's a sense of like anxiety associated with that thought. I really don't want to die. I have a lot of anxiety surrounding, like health issues and all this cuz I don't want to die. I used to want to die a lot. Now I don't. So, you know, hell is non-biblical. No, it's not in the Bible at all actually. I don't think there's literally anything in the Bible about hell. There might be stuff in the Bible about heaven, like the kingdom of heaven I think is explicitly in the Bible, but um is hell ever explicitly in the Bible? Um yeah, so it seems like hell is like a translated idea or something. There are some hell-like imagery throughout the Bible, but the idea that like you go to hell as a punishment and it's like your permanent suffering there, like nah, that's not really in there. The blurb from Wikipedia is references Gehenna in the New Testament, described as a place where both soul and body could be destroyed. But Gehenna was a physical location outside the city walls of Jerusalem, according to the Wikipedia article. So it's not like a metaphysical plane, but rather like it was a physical location on the planet where bad things could happen to you. Drea says hell is mentioned in the book of Revelation, which is a book of prophetic imagery and not literal interpretation. True. If you're a pagan, why are you focusing on Christian dogma? Because Christianity is the dominant religion in my country and people use it as a justification to limit people's like secular rights. So Yeah, I mean, also because like it's the dominant religion in my country, and I think that life is better when people have good reasons for believing in what they believe. And I think that there shouldn't be like parts of your life where you just don't engage critical thinking and believe things that have no good justification, especially if it causes harm to yourself or other people, which it commonly does. There's like lots of forms of religious harm, specifically Christian religion harming people. So yeah, I think it does like a lot of harm in the world. And that's why I advocate for, you know, some of the things that Jesus actually advocated for, just from the perspective of like, well, Jesus was just a cool dude who had good ideas on some things. I remember Sheol being mentioned in the Old Testament as well, but that's a holdover from Jewish mythology that tends to get ignored completely by Christians. Yeah. Genetically Modified Skeptic has a video of how hell is a park in Jerusalem and that he went there. Yeah. You'd think people who believe in souls would be pro-trans generally, like they're the folks who believe in a metaphysical self separate from the flesh. The science of transness is pretty complicated, but if you believe in the soul, the idea of gendered souls shouldn't seem weird. Yeah, but then you get into a whole like God doesn't make mistakes. Like why would he put a female soul in a male body or whatever? And then I cut back with God didn't make a mistake. He gave me a particular soul in a particular body for a reason, and if I reject that, then I'm rejecting the gift that I was given. I've just started riffing on that recently, which feels funny. I like using religious people's justifications for things to make my own arguments. I think it's funny to do that. I still don't think I've really perfected this makeup look, but it is definitely cuter than it could be. I feel like, we're making progress on learning how to do things. Ooh. Still, dude. Yeah, God works in mysterious ways. He's testing us, etc. They already have the excuses ready to go for stuff like child cancer. Yeah, I do find that like, and this is part of why I got bored with atheist activism back in the day, was that they kind of cannot say anything new. It's literally the same like four arguments recycled over and over again. But also we're running into that with trans issues. So I guess it's nice to have a little variety now, where sometimes I'm on the more religious oriented shows and I get to talk about religion, and then I have my Takis, and then I'll be on Chewed Gum and we talk about women's issues. Look at the cleavage from that angle. That's crazy. Anyway, just turn a little sideways and it's like, ooh, there's boobies. Okay. So get a little bit of variety now. Oh my god. Why? It's hard to configure my hair. Ugh. Okay, that was insane. I've been hearing people say trans people weren't a thing until 5 years ago for like 10 years now. Oh my god, so true. I don't think I have at any time, like, so part of the problem with arguing with transphobic people and with anybody really is that the goalposts constantly shift, right? Like, I've noticed this even with like people in my life who I love, where I'm like, okay, you're just doing the same thing that I deal with all fucking week. Where it's like, people, you pin them down on something and you say you only think transness is new because the Hirschfeld library was destroyed. And then they just never really meaningfully engage with that point. You know how it goes when they just never really meaningfully engage with the point? They just move to something else. Yeah, if you're getting all your information from a 2,000-year-old book, there's not much more to learn. Yeah, there's not much more you can say. You can't be like, "Oh, we discovered something new that proves the Bible." Like, nope, doesn't really work that way. I think that we should avoid arguments at all costs, in my opinion. Sure. I feel like in your interpersonal relationships, yeah, you should try to work cooperatively. When you have someone in your life who's just really fucking argumentative, though, it's like I realized recently, yeah, it's like I was interacting with someone in my personal life who was really argumentative, and I was like, I do this for a living. I am better at this than I used to be. I think that people confuse something being sinful and something being the result of sin. I highly doubt that God would have created trans people, nor is being trans a sin, but it can exist within a fallen world where the human genome has deteriorated from its original, quote, perfect design. That's an interesting perspective. I'm trying to process if there's anything about that that I can particularly respond to, but I think that it would take a long time to have a discussion about that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just really, that's an interesting approach to the concept. It's called bad faith. Yeah, but sometimes you don't want to believe that people in your life who you care about are engaging in a bad faith discussion, you know? But it is kind of interesting when you start to notice all these bad faith tactics. Anyone who thinks that trans people are a new thing need to talk to Emperor Elagabalus. That's true. I don't know how to pronounce it. Elagabalus. 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 That wasn't the one. That's not a. Is that a Roman emperor or is that an Asian or something? I don't know. I don't actually know that. I was like, wait, there was a Roman emperor who wanted. Was that the one? The Roman emperor who was like, find me someone who will surgically make me a pussy. I heard someone say the Bible is just the knuckle bones, and that feels accurate. When someone casts knuckle bones and reads them for privacy, like the knuckle bones do have an objective shape and objective position, but it's vague enough that you can see what you want to. The Bible says what it says, but Christians see what they want in it. Yeah, and we do try to explain, like, that, like we've tried to have this morality conversation where it's like, you guys have a sense of morality that is separate from your Bible. Do you know why I know that? Because you make moral judgments about what happens in the Bible. Like, because you are generally against rape, but God seems to be pro rape, stuff like that. I married 7 women just to learn how to do makeup proper. Oh, no, not you. Oh my God. Elagabalus married 7 women just to learn how to do makeup properly. Elagabalus? That feels fake. It tells me that you just wanted to get gob in there. I feel like you were just trying to get a sex pun in there. Oh, gosh. The stance comes from a place of uncritical thought. I've given up talking with my parents because despite their constant study of the text and interrogation, the word truth is continuously thrown around, even when they will not give actual justification for belief beyond I know. I love them and they practice a humble and compassionate form of Christianity, but damn, it's like talking to a wall. Yeah, we had a philosophy bro on last night it was kind of like that, where it's like, what do you mean by truth? Like the fact that we couldn't pin down what he meant by truth. I'm like, that's why I don't like the word truth in these discussions. That's why I don't bother with it. I'm like, either stuff happened or it didn't, and there are objective ways to measure it. Stuff either exists or it doesn't. There is no truth that is separate from the facts. The truth is just the way that we interpret the facts. The facts are what they are, but there either is a moon or there isn't one. Oh, okay, I realize what happened here. Oh, I don't have this open. I do need this. I mean, I guess I don't need it, but I want it to open. Yeah, the fucking truth caller. That was crazy. That dude was like also was that the dude who was also like talking real fast and we were like, what are you on? Can I get some of that at 7 in the morning? Like, it was wild. The only way to have a non-subjective truth would require one to be omniscient. But that's the problem, though, even with that, is that, like, if it's God's opinion that something is true, that's still subjective. Like, even if you're an omniscient subject, you're still a subject. You're still like creating a narrative and forming opinions and doing a value judgment. You're still not objective. It's not possible to be objective if you are perceiving things. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, I like these horns. I 3D printed them. I didn't design them, but I 3D printed them. They're pretty good quality, honestly. Gotta make sure not to accidentally step on them. And yeah, I'm feeling okay, except my back hurts and I didn't sleep very well. So I guess I'm actually kind of not feeling the best. But, you know, we are doing what we can. How's the Void Kitty? He's been doing okay. He's sleeping in the other room right now. He's been wanting a lot of attention lately. He's been like, I want to be in your lap. Please love me. Please look at me. Please pay attention to me. So he's a needy boy. Yeah, the philosophy bro was the one talking at hyperspeed. You could have used his flow as an FTF fuel, yeah. Or FTL. Oh my god, FTL fuel. That's implying that the entity that supposedly created the universe and all the laws of science that run it has the same sort of, quote, perception as the rest of us. Ah, not the same sort of perception, but the ability to perceive. Like, how could you place a value judgment on something morally? How could you assess what is true without being able to perceive information in some form or fashion? So, like, if you're able to perceive and you're able to cast judgment or you're able to describe facts or hold an idea of truth, you necessarily are a subject. Hello, Jazz Dog. What pagan gods do you follow? I don't. Okay, so I'm an atheist, first and foremost. I do a little paganism for fun on the side, but it is non-spiritual. However, if I ever am like using an idea to help me process my emotions and my feelings, I venerate the goddess Tyche, who is the Greek goddess of luck and fortune, not good luck. To be clear, Fortuna is the Roman interpretation of Tyche, who is the goddess of good luck specifically, I think. But Tyche is just the goddess of fortune, good and ill. And like, so the idea is that you venerate her and, you know, understanding that fate is fickle, you're asking her to steer fate in a more positive direction, but she might not. And that doesn't mean that she did anything wrong or that you did anything wrong even. It's just like she decided that bad luck was today. We have a special request for a hi Rachel, Jazz Dog's mom. Atheo-pagan, yeah, sure, that's like a probably accurate. I would describe it as like a secular pagan or like, yeah, non-spiritual or something, but yeah. It's mostly for fun. It's mostly for fun. Yeah, credit to Joven on the Christian morality is still subjective because the subject is God. Yeah. Jovan. Jovan. Did I say it wrong? I was reading and not thinking. Have you ever done a full moon ritual with a group? Ooh, you know what? I don't remember if it was a full moon ritual specifically, but I actually did go when I was a teenager. I was friends with somebody whose parents actually went to like a pagan quote unquote church. Like basically like one day a week. Yeah, I think it was in a Christian church maybe, where like the Christian church just like let this group meet on Saturdays or something. But yeah, I went to like a proper circle. It was indoors. And then there was like a little game or like a maybe it was Halloween. Maybe that's how we celebrated Halloween that year. I can't remember, but I did do like a full on ritual with a group of people. At the time, I found it very fucking weird. I would appreciate it differently now. But I would still feel it really weird depending on like how seriously do everybody else take it, you know? Do these other people feel like they're having a legitimate spiritual experience, or are these other people understanding it as like, you know, rituals have psychological power, you know? So that's part of why I don't do anything group wise with pagans now, because I'm like, I don't really like believe anything is happening here when we light the candles and stuff. It just makes us feel good. The truth guy wanted you to commit to his definition so that he could do a gotcha on hard solipsism checkmate atheists. Is that what he was driving toward? I had no idea what he was trying to get to. And I really do think that he contradicted himself, because dude was like, "Oh, what did he say?" He was like, "There's different forms of truth, and one of the forms of truth is the one that's like it corresponds to things that are real in the real world, like that it's tied to objective facts, and it's called correspondence truth theory." And I was like, well, I guess that's the truth theory that I subscribe to, if that's how you're describing. And then he was like, no, that's not what I said. I'm like, oh fucking K. Hell yeah. I love getting shout outs from people's moms. That's pretty cool. He was trying for the solipsism, but y'all wouldn't play the solipsism game. Yeah, maybe my lack of familiarity with whatever he was trying to drive toward just was really frustrating for him. I was like, I don't understand what point you're trying to make. PSA regarding good versus bad fortune. I just finished a great book called The Biggest Bluff, which is about better navigating and emotionally managing the unavoidable element of chance. Yeah, radical acceptance in DBT therapy. That was a little bit redundant because DBT therapy it's like ATM machine. Anyway, the element of chance. Yeah. The fact that you just don't have control over things, or you don't have control over everything. And sometimes you have to just radically accept, like, okay, this is the way that it is. And that is the first step to changing things. But also sometimes you do have to just accept that you can't change things. He was, yeah, he was too altered to do the debate right. I hate philosophy debates because they always just sound like obnoxious word games. Truly, it's like, what are we getting toward here? Someone apparently is, I don't know, like throwing a bunch of basketballs into a dumpster outside. I don't know. DB therapy doesn't roll off the tongue as well. My pet is the opposite of your pet, a blinding flash of dog. Yeah, I'm still thinking about getting a kitten. I think I have to have some other conversations with the people that I live with before we commit to getting another animal. When you were younger, how did you know that you're non-binary? Oh God. I mean, for the first few months, I thought I was a trans man because I had just like dysphoria. Um, and I don't know, like I tried to be a trans man. I kind of like went with that and was like, oh yeah, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And then that was also uncomfortable. So I was like, oh, maybe there's a secret third option. And then I went with the secret third option. So puppy named Keely. Or is Keely a puppy, or is she just like still got puppy energy even though she's older? Mama says, I like Baphomet as a symbol. Baphomet represents self actualization and the duality within all people, especially gender. Baphomet is traditionally depicted as half male and half female. The goat head is meant to represent intelligence and independence. Good stuff. I'm thinking of getting a Baphomet tat on my thigh. Ooh, that sounds fun. I am also thinking about more tattoos now that, like, I don't know. I guess I'll have to like maybe find a piercer who would be willing to look at my piercings next month and tell me like, are they finished healing, or do I need to continue treating them sensitively? Like, how much more time are they going to need? I feel like they should stop by now. Like, it's supposed to take nipple piercings. Oh my shit, I just touched my eyeball. Oh my god. Did I smudge it? I think I smudged it. No. No. Didn't smudge it. Okay, great. I just fucking touched my eyeliner like a silly person. Good night, in a box. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for donating. I appreciate you. But yeah, man, like it takes between 6 and 12 months for nipple piercings to heal, and it's like 11 months now. So I'm kind of getting annoyed at the fact that they're still very actively, like clearly actively healing. Ugh, obnoxious. I'm like still wearing the original jewelry and everything. Like I can't get new jewelry. They're still really sensitive. Like that might just be like because they're very sensitive and that's just my new normal. But anyway. I started with the secret third option before settling on pretty much one of the binary choices. Yeah, it works different for everybody. Some people like feeling genderqueer and non-binary is like an exploratory thing, and I just didn't know that. I guess I just didn't know very much about non-binary identity. I was like, okay, I heard about trans men, and it was like my exposure to more things about trans men. Then I was like, okay, I learned about genderqueer, which is what I identified as for like more than 10 years. More than 10 years. Mm. I do the same thing, Mama. So I'm starting to get used to not touching my eyes. So sometimes when I'm not wearing makeup, I'll be like, wait, and I'll hesitate, and then I'll be like, wait, I'm not wearing anything on my eyes. It's like that weird in between phase where sometimes I forget that I'm wearing makeup, but also sometimes I think I might be wearing makeup and I'm not. As a non-binary person, are you connected to the duality of genders being able to be separated from male and female? Okay, so basically my gender journey was that like I felt like okay, sometimes I feel like more masculine and more feminine, and maybe you could have called that gender fluid. I didn't prefer gender fluid because the image that I had of a gender fluid person was I guess like swinging back and forth between male and female, which I did not identify with. So I identified as genderqueer, which to me meant I can basically do whatever I want as far as gender presentation because that's what gender it's like I'm queer, I'm queering gender. I used to describe genderqueer as being like, it's like being a man and a woman, but kind of both, and also neither, something like that. But the older I've gotten, the more I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm kind of completely alienated from this concept of gender. And I now identify as a gender, which means I don't have a gender specifically. Like I would not say that I have a specific gender identity where I'm, I'll very broadly describe myself as non-binary. And some people do describe their one true gender as non-binary, and like I guess that technically could apply to me. But yeah, I just don't really give a shit anymore. I mean, I still care, but I don't mind how people perceive me. I don't really care about getting misgendered anymore. I do have dysphoria, but it's extremely private. Like, I'm not dysphoric about anything you can see, ever. I'm only dysphoric about private things that only me and my partner interact with. So, you know, it's just like not a huge deal in my life in that way. Yeah, like I know that I'm not a man or a woman, and like whatever secret third option. If you use the planetary model, it takes the men are from Mars and women are from Venus thing and turns it into something useful. You might be born on one planet, but then move to another. Maybe you just want to orbit around Venus or Mars. Maybe you want to travel from planet to planet and never stay in one place. Or maybe you want to live on Neptune. Maybe you want to float in open space. The possibilities are endless. The term agender sounds super frustrating because you have to say a gender, not a gender. Language is dumb. I mean, I don't usually like have a huge problem with it, but I also don't need to specifically talk about being a gender most of the time. In the sense, I guess like I'm an atheist and I'm also a gender. I do not subscribe to your belief systems. Schrodinger's gender. You don't know what it is till you open the box. Yeah, that's fair. No capes. I wish I knew why my back just randomly started hurting. It is so weird. It's not like a sharp pain or anything. Like, it's definitely still just like probably a muscle pain. But it's just, it hit me so suddenly. It's so weird. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Neither one can sustain life. Earth will have to do, truly. Oh, man. Oh, there's like a spot that really hurts when I'm touching it. It's like just to the left of my spine. Oh, why? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, the rethought planetary model is pretty fun. Agender was a freeing realization to come to, kind of like finding absurdism. Yes. Atheist has the same problem. If someone says I'm atheist, it can be hard to tell if they mean atheist or atheist, depending on how they talk. Sure, maybe I am just more precise in my vowel pronunciation. I think I am more precise in my vowel pronunciation because a lot of the time, like, my partner pronounces the words pen and pin quite similarly. And as you can tell, I make a pretty big distinction between those two words. Do you need a pen or do you need a pin? They're different words. And sometimes people don't pronounce them well. So, atheist versus a theist, the vowel is like, it's the same letter, but it's literally a completely different vowel. It's like the U vowel almost. Uh, oh my gosh. I don't know how long I'm not gonna make it today. I was originally going until 5 because our friend was like, let's play games together tonight. Is he? Oh, okay, okay, yeah, actually, so my friend is available to play games. So I will be getting off in about 30 minutes then. Okay, that's perfect. I love that. Ooh, I'm excited. I was kind of like, am I going to be able to go to 6 because my back hurts? My partner was like, hey, can you get the massage gun and help me? Because, like, his lower back has been really hurting him. So maybe I'll be able to be like, hey, can we trade off? Like, I'll do you 5 minutes and you do me 5 minutes? Because it's really hard to get. I can. Here, let me show off. Massage gun. These are lots of fun. So, like, I use my hypermobility to my advantage by doing things like this. Eh. And so I'll be like, and then I'll go up here like, and then I'll switch and go like this. Like, yeah, this thing's pretty useful. It was like $30. It's really useful. Maybe it's a Texas thing. I'm atheist. Yeah, I see what you mean. Pen and pin are almost homophones for me. Yeah, I just like if you need to be do you ever like overpronounce it in a situation where you actually need to be specific? Like, because probably pen is the word that you're using more often. Pin is probably not being used as often. So maybe it's that like because you're used to saying pen all the time, then you just say pin, and it's like a much softer, less emphasized I sound. I don't know. Yeah, Nethercat. It's true. It's like oh my god, what is it called? Oh no. Uh oh, I can't remember the name of the comedy. It was like the comedy guys that would do those like those misunderstanding based ones. I'm a gender. Which one? Which one what? Gender. None. I just said that. You said you were a gender. Which one? Ugh. Yeah, what is that? What am I thinking of? No, it's the opposite way around, Drea. People pronounce the word pin with a much softer I, so it sounds like they're saying pen. It's like, and this works this happens in many other words too, like milk. The whole milk. It's almost like they're spelling it with an E, milk. There's like an extra like tightening in the back of the mouth and the sides of the mouth that need to happen in order to tighten up that sound. It's a tightening of the tongue. I think that it probably ends up softening because of the same reason why people in with American English struggle with the R sound. Like, children, the R sound in an American accent is like one of the last things that they get. And sometimes kids even need a speech therapist in order to get it, to like figure it out. So, yeah, it's like that R and then like that tightening in the back of the tongue, where lots of other English accents and like other languages avoid that with the R by putting it on the tongue. Very, or the R, like literally R is easier than a R in the back of the mouth. I've never mispronounced the word pin as pen, but what I do get yelled at for mispronouncing is breakfast. I tend to rush it out as breakfast. Then you listen to us Kiwis and everything gets thrown out the door on pronunciation. Kiwis are New Zealanders, right? I learned kind of the subtle differences, and I'm sure that it's very obvious to you, but I as an American had to learn the difference between an Aussie accent and a Kiwi accent. It's a little subtle difference, but I really like being able to tell kind of like the little tiny differences between accents. Milk and milk is not one I've encountered much other than one teacher I had. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just like Kansas City thing. Milk. My mom pronounces most nouns as thing. Just that thing over there, that thing. What
hey Donovan,
is
you got anything
this?
to drink?
This is a channel with almost 2 million subscribers. If I play this video, they're gonna nuke my stream. One thing I noticed about the American accent, it's more insurance rather than insurance. So that's sort of context dependent. Let's see. How would we deal with the word insurance? I really think it mostly depends on the sentence around it. I would need to think about it and test that out a little bit. But I really do think that, like, okay, so in a lot of English, it's emphasis changes whether it's the noun or verb form commonly. So like record versus record. Like record hits the noun and like record being the verb. Uh, but I think with insurance, like I have just naturally felt the inclination to say it two different ways. The first time I said it, I said insurance. And the second time just now, I said insurance. It depends on the rest of the context of the sentence. My brother and I get called out for the way we say bag. Do you say bag? Are you getting the Minnesota bag? Speaking of insurance, I would love to get some health insurance. I don't know if I can though. I was going to, and then the subsidies potentially not going through. Like, I don't know. I guess it could still be worth it. Like, if I get health insurance and it only costs $100 a month for 2 months, and I get my COVID vaccine, which is $200, um, yeah, I guess it would break even, wouldn't it? Because I'd pay for it for 2 months, so I paid $200 for insurance, receive COVID vaccine. But maybe I could also go to a doctor for something. I don't know. That would be crazy. Oh, nightmares. You said something earlier, and I guess the chat just zoomed by. I didn't see what you said. Welcome to the website, chat. Hi. Um, saw you on the line yesterday. Those callers are a trip. Haven't been on your stream in a while. Cool outfit. Haven't been in queer community in a while. Well, cool. You know, hang out with queer people. It's good for you. I didn't say I could do a Kiwi accent. I said I like to listen to it. I struggled with words early in my life, but now I write poetry, so IDK, maybe I figured it out. Hell yeah, dude. Oh my god, yawning boy. $200, how much would it be in Canada? Worth a weekend vacation? Yeah, I don't know. There was like subsidies that made the COVID vaccine free, and then those subsidies dried up and they didn't pass new ones. So yeah, so I don't have health insurance. If you do not have health insurance, you're going to pay $200 because that's the price of the vaccine that they've set. So yeah, it's kind of a huge pain in the ass. And I'd like to get a flu shot too, so my health insurance is getting close to $800 a month, I think, as of last year. I simply would not fucking pay that. Like, I find it really, I struggle to imagine any good reason to pay that much. That's like half of my rent. That's not reasonable. There is I don't think that there's any amount of healthcare that could be worth me paying that much money every month. Like, I'll just file for bankruptcy. I don't give a shit. It's crazy. Chaos Gremlin says, New Zealanders, we miss out sounds and words, mumble, use a lot of slang, and lots of yeah, nah as an answer. We also have a feud with Aussies who sound different to us. True. I know about the yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. As a Midwestern American, we speak similarly. But it's just more like, yeah, no, definitely. But like, we do have the same kind of idiosyncrasies like that. Those expensive vaccines suck, but have you considered that it's worth it because we finally have the Gulf of America? True. Oh my God, you guys, I'm about to get such a perspective that I don't normally get because I don't really know a lot of people in other countries. Or like maybe like not people who know what it's like in America and what it's like in other countries, but maybe I've actually seen this skit before and now that I'm thinking about it. Someone I know in Texas is moving their family to France. And so they went to France and like visited with some people and they're trying to buy a house and every kind of thing, you know. And so from the brief couple of days that they were in France, some of what they were reporting was like that food is like cheaper and higher quality. So like what the kind of quality of food that we would expect to find at Whole Foods or like a fancy store, like the expensive stuff, that's just like normal quality food there, and it is cheaper than our like, or at least on par with some of our poor quality food, which seems insane to me. So just on a very basic level, and like countries in Europe have good emission standards, so the air and the water are just cleaner. Um, it just seems like a higher standard of living in like every possible way, which is crazy. I guess I didn't realize like how different it was on that kind of a basic level. Like I know that obviously there's big differences, like having a national healthcare service. Okay, cool. Or like, you know, other stuff that I was like, yeah, that does matter. But it just did not occur to me that even on the very basic level of like, I mean, even I've heard that though, that people are like, yeah, the quality is worse. I guess it's the price that's the biggest surprise to me, that it is both higher quality and less expensive to eat. Sad thing is that this $800 a month insurance also comes with an $8,600 a year copay, and that only counts for in-network. Yeah, like the fact that they can have like out-of-pocket maximum, you have to pay $10,000 on everything before we will cover any of it. It's like literally, what the fuck am I paying you for? The Midwest goodbye is, oh my goodness.
TheFuzzyLogic has donated $100. Being uninsured sucks.
The Fuzzy Logic. Thank you. Oh wow, that's so generous for the $100 dono. I didn't have anything else planned. I can go get the boy. I'll go get the boy. But yeah, being uninsured fucking sucks. I did just speak with an accountant this morning, and so I'm hoping that that helps with my financial situation of like, and then maybe if I'm formally, I get my business paperwork kind of figured out, then I could give myself health insurance maybe. If I'm my own employee, can I give myself health insurance that's affordable? Does that make any sense? Ugh. Like my partner has like free health insurance through his work. But like if he wanted to add me to his health insurance, it would be like $2,000 a month, which is fucking insane. Okay, so the Midwest goodbye is, or I guess I've always heard it as the Minnesota goodbye, but I guess it's the Midwest goodbye. But the Midwest goodbye is where, you're sitting on the couch, you're talking, and you say, well, I'm going to have to start, making my way out of here. And you get up and then you pause in the hallway and you keep talking. And then you're standing in the doorway and you're putting on your coat and you're still talking. And your hand is on the doorknob for 5 minutes and you're still talking with your hand on the doorknob for 5 minutes. And then you step outside and then there's a conversation on the porch. And then you finally go to your car. That's the Midwest goodbye. Yeah, Trinket says the Midwest goodbye often starts with the knee slap. Welp, but it is defined by the 20 minutes you spend talking to the person after you start saying goodbye. True. Yeah. And then there's the Irish goodbye, where you just dip without saying anything to anybody. Yeah, let me go. Yeah, well, I suppose well, I use that on the phone sometimes too, where I'm like, well, I'll let you go or whatever. Okay, I'll go find the cat. We gotta show off the baby. Thank you for the donation. That's so generous. I find the baby. He is the baby. He is the boy. He is my favorite man. Hello, baby. You good boy? He's like, I was dead ass asleep. You good boy? Hmm? Oh. Hello. You good? Mm-hmm. 100% can confirm the Midwest goodbye happens all the time with older folks, not so much amongst these 35 and under. My husband and I are both 35 and under, and we're both terrible about doing the Midwest goodbye. Maybe we've made a point to get better about it, but you good boy. Mm-hmm. Okay, goodbye. Oh my god, please. Claws. Blah, 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 blah. In New Zealand, I don't need health insurance as such, but I got it because funds specialists privately, so it's faster to get to. Full cover only costs about 300 New Zealand a month. For private health insurance? Only 300 a month? Wow. There's nothing worse than a Midwest goodbye on a work call. Oh no. I don't really get it on phone calls that much. Trinket confirms the Midwest goodbye is very common among younger folk in my area. Well, you want up here now? Okay. I've kind of started asking for permission to pick him up. Okay, are you good? Oh, hold on. The claws. There you go. You stab me? You stabby boy? Stab man? Mr. Stab Man. He is a stab. Do I? Hold on. I'm gonna change something really fast. Let me see if I can. Hey. Wow. I'm smacking his butt and he's licking. Hi. Are you a big boy? Okay. Oh, hold on. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Okay, now I'll put chat back. Hello, chat. Welcome back. Are you done? No? Okay. My issue with the Midwest goodbye is just when it holds up other people, because once you announce that we're leaving, I don't want to be standing there waiting for you. It's fucking true. That's a good point. I'll Midwest goodbye when I'm at Hangouts and driving by myself home. True. One of my coworkers will spend 30 plus minutes cycling through the final bullet points section, then segue into commenting on one or more of said points, then go back to reiterating the final bullet points, rinse and repeat for eternity. No! Yeah, I guess... I will say, like, most of the phone calls that I have had to have with Jimmy recently have been pretty brief. Like, there's a little bit of joking around or whatever, but, like, once we get our business done, it's mostly like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. And it's like, okay, bye. We both got shit to do, and I guess we're both on the same page of, like, we don't have a lot of extra, like, filling the time. Sometimes he bullies me, and at first I'm like, yeah, you're right, though. I'm weird. But then I finally am like, oh no, you bully me. Like, I don't know. That's a little bit of the friend culture amongst the line, is a little bit of, like, bullying each other. Not too bad, but just like, God, you're so weird. Like, I don't know, silly stuff. Here in the UK, private insurance can be as cheap as 20 quid a month because the NHS covers everything that is medically necessary, so the insurance really only needs to cover electives and the long waiting lists. I would assume that it's like they can charge whatever they want, but if you're used to paying nothing for health insurance, you probably would be outraged if they tried to get you to pay, like, a lot for health care or whatever. Or sorry, if you're used to paying basically nothing for health care, then if you need to get private insurance, you're not going to be willing to pay a lot for it. Kitty is licking me. Are you a good boy? Oh my god, please don't stab me. Are you okay? I'm sorry, he's just out of camera. I don't have the ability to point it down either. Just once in my life, I want to work somewhere I'm the least neurodivergent person instead of the most. I am as neurodivergent as most of the other people I work with now. Or at least, like, you know, Jimmy, and then Arden's got something going on. I think she's ADHD. Yeah, we've all got some flavor of TISM or ADHD or something. Oh my god, are you okay? Are you good? Yeah? Smacking the butt. Smack in the butt. Oh my god. Please stop stabbing me. Look at this culprit. He doesn't understand crime. Look at you not understanding crime and yet stabbing me. You don't understand stabbing, but you still do it? I don't know if y'all can hear him when I do that, but I guess that's the goal behind the lavalier mic, which I did. I have these. Oh, I got him a collar too. I don't have it on him. I feel like I want to show you his cute little, you cute little man with your cute little collar. Do you look like a distinguished gentleman? Are you a gentleman? Arden has said ADHD willing in almost every conversation I've had with her, and I absolutely feel that. Yeah. Like, so long as I fucking remember later. That's what that means. It means so long as I fucking remember later. Starting now. Whoa. That's what happens when you have a Ninja Sex Party song stuck in your head. I've got a hard boner for you. I don't know why that's been stuck in my head. It's a cat's sacred duty to stab their favorite people. This is why declawing is heresy. True. The wildest thing I learned last year was Americans pay to have a baby. We get given free stuff from our free midwives with our free hospital stays with our parental paid leave as a legal right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and sometimes we have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to have a baby, you know? And also we have like a greater chance of dying during pregnancy and childbirth than any other developed nation. Isn't that fucking insane? That we pay tens of thousands of dollars for a good chance of dying because our care was mismanaged? Did not expect to hear that song again. Dude, Heart Boner is probably one of my favorite Ninja Sex Party songs. Why pay to have children when you could force births and force pregnancy? True. Declawing cats in California is illegal. Let's go. Oh, speaking of things being made illegal, apparently there's a group in Oregon that are suing the state because the state passed a law in 1999 preventing female genital mutilation, but genital cutting of males is still permitted. And so basically a group of men are suing for sex discrimination, effectively, like that you passed a law that protects one sex class, but that another sex class is having the same kind of, you know, violation of their bodily autonomy performed on them. And so, yeah, like, I think that's really cool. I think that would be really interesting. Like, that would definitely, like, certainly that would make Oregon the first state to make male circumcision illegal, right? I don't even know if it's regulated in any way, anywhere in this country. Yeah, I see you. Should I put his collar on him? Joke's on them. Sex discrimination is legal now. True, bestie. That's so true. Do you guys want to see him with his special little collar? I literally just got him a collar, and I'm just getting him used to wearing it enough that I can put one of these on it. I'm just gonna like clip it to there, and then I'll put the dead cat on it. Where is it? I'll put the dead cat on there, and then he'll have his own little microphone. He'll be like, Meow. I'm being lazy about, I really have had plenty of opportunity to try to connect this thing to my computer. I just haven't fucking taken the time. Would love to see Oregon be the first state that bans intersex surgeries on babies. Yeah, I think that would necessarily follow. I just, probably the intersex community is smaller than the community of aggrieved circumcised males. But I would like to see, yeah, if there is a law against female genital mutilation, like there should be a law blanket ban against any, unless it's literally like surgically necessary. Like if there is a blocked urethra, like sometimes that can happen where like the foreskin like actually physically blocks the urethra, and then that's like a medically necessary procedure. But like there should be no such thing as elective genital surgery on babies. That's like a crazy thing that we do in this country. I really look forward to the next time someone tries to bring up this issue. Because like I don't really think about the male circumcision thing, but especially if it's a man, I'm gonna be like, do you support circumcision? If they don't support circumcision, I'm gonna be like, okay, so do you think we should make circumcision illegal? Like, oh no, you think some parents have the right to choose to mutilate their baby's genitals? It sounds like you support more mutilation of children than I do, because I'm against all of these forms of non-consensual mutilation or surgery or carving up their bodies or whatever the fuck word you want to use for it. Non-consensual alteration of children's bodies. God doesn't make mistakes, except the foreskin. Get that shit out of here. True. Yeah. Uh, okay, do you guys remember? Maybe you remember a long time ago we watched a video, a 10-minute TikTok from a guy who was talking about how it seems like the Democrats are trying to lose. In fact, Mama Mephistopheles might have sent me that video. But it was basically like he was like, you know, looking at their behavior, it doesn't really make sense from the perspective of a party who is trying to win and govern. But if you look at their decisions in the context of people who are trying deliberately to lose, then their behavior makes a lot more sense. You know, like if they win, then they will be compelled by at least some portion of their base to follow through on their campaign promises, but their campaign promises would necessarily mean turning their backs on their biggest donors, and therefore they can't actually enact any of those changes. So they try to lose. That was basically his argument. Well, that guy's name is Watchful Coyote, and I saw him popping up on my Facebook timeline. And he also makes lots of content about men and marriage and like advice for being in those kind of relationships and how to show up as a man in like a healthy masculinity kind of way. And he was like, yeah, this is like the circumcision thing is something that even in the most intimate groups of men, where we're talking about raw emotional things like how bad we've been to our partners or our difficulties like with loss or like whatever, like these things that men are connecting over, even in those spaces, if somebody tries to bring up circumcision, it's too uncomfortable for everybody to talk about. And, you know, getting into that whole thing of if it's one of your very first experiences of the world that like your most sensitive body part without any form of anesthesia is removed, and then it has to go through a process of healing, like that fundamentally fucks up people's brains probably. Like, yeah, are men terrible because like one of their first experiences of the world is that kind of a traumatic experience? Like maybe, probably even, I don't know. Oh, quantum chaos, I'm so sorry. Thought today was Tuesday all day. Oh no. I hope you didn't miss any important meetings. Um but yeah, we will be ending soon. I'm stopping at 5 because we're spending some time with a friend this evening. Yeah, half the time when these people call in, they're closer to believing that children are getting sex change surgeries in secret than the actual reality where, yeah, we just do this openly on intersex babies. There's no secret, there's no cabal, there's no big pharma or whatever. Like, no, it's just like routine. We routinely mutilate the genitals of males and intersex babies. Yeah. Yeah, and fucking every single time. Drea, I think that there was one of those anti-trans laws that was passing to restrict the access to medication for under 18s. One of them didn't pass specifically because it didn't have any carve outs for intersex babies. I can't remember which state it was. I want to say it was Utah or Idaho. I can't remember, but one of the laws just couldn't, or maybe it was like Montana or something. I feel like I would have known if it was Montana because of Zoe Zephyr, but I don't know. Mm. Okay. I like accidentally pulled up Discord, but then I saw that my husband had texted me. Doggo is being extra cuddly right now. Yeah, my baby has been extra cuddly with me lately. Are you gross, baby? RFK Jr. says the Tylenol that they give babies after circumcision is what makes them autistic. That's the real and true answer, obviously. Yeah, I know he did say that. I can't relate much in the same way that seeing a dude get beamed in the nuts has never meant anything to me. I do always get like a sympathetic oof. And especially now that I've had my cervix yanked around by a claw, I completely understand like the kind of pain that men experience. It's fucking different. When you get beamed in the nads, um, it's your balls are innervated with the same kind of nerves that innervate your inner organs. So if you have trauma to your inner organs, that's the same kind of pain that men feel when you beam them in the nads. So like it there's a reason why they respond the way that they do. And it's because it's the worst fucking thing. And like now that I understand what they're going through, I have a lot of respect for it, but I have always kind of had like a sympathetic like, "Ooh, ow." I did not understand when I was younger what it meant. And now I do. The pain is up in the kidneys. Yeah, it's like a referred pain because yeah, the nerves to it are like your inner organ nerves. It's anyway, it's almost 5. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and get myself ready to hang out with my friend. I appreciate you hanging out. They are inner organs until puberty, basically true. They're all up in there. In your inguinal canals, whatever. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for your generous donations as well and all the likes on the video and everything. It has been a wonderful time. I appreciate hanging out with y'all. It is my intention to stream again on Sunday unless something comes up. I don't think it will, but I've been really fucking tired and feeling shitty lately, and streaming is one of the first things that I'm able to drop when I'm not feeling good. So, yeah. Anyway, love you all very much, and I'll see ya next time. Yeah.